Hi everyone. The following points are not necessarily chronological, and some may be omitted or expanded depending on the focus of your analysis. Also, along with looking at a score, being able to listen to a recording and/or hear the music in your head are important aspects of analysis. In this video, however, to avoid the need to consistently acknowledge both aspects, I will only refer to looking at the written score. Before beginning any analysis, two things should be kept in mind. The first is context, whether it's the context of the composer within the era in which the work was written, or the context of a note in relation to the surrounding texture. Context is extremely important in helping to clarify any aspect of a musical work. The second is justification. If, for example, there are two or more ways of hearing a particular aspect of the music and you favour one interpretation over another, be prepared to explain why and justify your reasons. In other words, you should always have a reason for your analytical choices. Also, remember there are often several ways of analysing part of or even an entire work, so be open to these possibilities and interpretations and acknowledge their presence. Determining the composer and their era is a good initial step, as this gives your analysis a broad context and will suggest clues as to the type of compositional and stylistic features it may contain, as well as its harmonic language. The work's title and instrumentation may also give clues and should be noted. This, for example, is a piano work by Franz Schubert, whose dates roughly straddle the late classical and early romantic eras of music history. This work is one of 8 Ecossaise, which is a dance form possibly of French origin. After establishing the composer and era, it's a good idea to then determine the work's form. This dance consists of 2 repeated sections, A and B, and is in binary form. There will be times, however, when you may be unclear as to the form of a work, or maybe the work uses no form you recognise. In these instances, determine what you think the work's structure is and justify your interpretation. Remember, however, even if you establish the work's form, composers don't necessarily follow a textbook model of it, so be prepared to possibly find deviations from the set patterns. After the work's form is established, sketch in its overall key and any modulations. Here the first 8 bars are in D major and the second 8 in B minor. Phrasing and motivic elements can also be noted. Here the work's 2 sections can be divided into 2 8-bar phrases, which can be further divided into 4 and 2-bar phrases. In the A section, the 8-bar phrase divides into a 4-bar phrase and 2 2-bar phrases, and the B section can be divided into 4 2-bar phrases. This right-hand motif helps to form the 2-bar units and is used initially in the left hand of the B section before returning to the right hand, now with slight variation to its melodic contour. Next, the work's harmony can be sketched in. Here, through the A section's first 5 bars, a tonic pedal underpins the harmony. Typically, when analysing chords sounding with a pedal, the pedal is ignored in the labels. These dominant sevenths, therefore, can be labelled as being in 4/2 inversion. When determining the harmony of a tonal work, always be looking for common progressions, especially at cadences. At the end of both these sections, for example, Schubert uses 2/5/1 progressions. Here the supertonic is altered to a dominant seventh, sounding as 5 of 5, and here the 2/5/1 is expanded with a cadential 6/4. Typically, the chord's voice leading can assist in clarifying difficult harmony. However, in some textures, composers may treat their voice leading freely using devices such as transferred resolutions, etc. At this stage of the analysis, it's okay to simply establish what each chord is, and any discrepancies with voice leading or such can be clarified later. The melody can also often assist in determining the harmonic basis. In this work, the melody is essentially made up of harmony notes. The only exceptions are occasional neighbour or passing notes, which are typically diatonic, except for this D sharp, which is a chromatic lower neighbour note to E. In terms of melody, it's also useful to begin to look at melodic connections across larger spans of a work. Often, for example, a melody may ascend or descend by step across several bars. In this dance, the first 5 bars of the A section essentially prolong the tonic note D, with that note in harmony being repeated throughout the bars. The final 3 bars of this section then outline a descent through a D major scale. We could therefore hear the tonic D as being prolonged using static repetition of the note in harmony, and then after an octave leap descending back to where it began. Through the B section, the descent through a D major scale spans the entire 8 bars, with the descent now occurring mostly at the top of the texture. The final 2 1 degrees, however, are not present in the right hand and now sound in the left hand's chords. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.